same crew of guys roaming around the NBA, and he's going to lose, right? More. He may lose more in the first year than he lost his entire 4 years at UConn, and he doesn't take those well. Has he got the personality to handle an NBA grind?
The guess would be that he doesn't. That would be the thought, because he's uber competitive, feisty, little brother syndrome, all that. Coaches hard, admittedly. That a lot of times that's not going to float in the NBA either. No, it doesn't seem like a pro fit to me, but you never know. I mean, I would say no. If I'm looking at it on the surface, I say no.
And how about this? If you're a Kansas fan, you're really rooting for the Lakers to get this done, because UConn has 30 days. Every player on UConn's roster has 30 days to transfer. 30 days to transfer. So, we could see the entire UConn roster.
Right. And
not only would Kansas be a prime stop, I know one of the guys on that team, Kansas was one of his finals.
Yeah.
Kansas could get in on that mix. It might take some red shirting or running some guys off or something, but just to get UConn's kind of one of the other teams, they're projected as a 1 seed right now, just to knock down some of your competition. If you're Kansas, you are rooting for Dan Hurley to take this Laker job.
I would absolutely agree with that. 100%. 100%.
By the way, while we're on the subject, K-State landed their 7th transfer, a 7-foot center from Kentucky who in 18 minutes averaged almost 3 blocks a game last year. He's 4-4 and 3, 4 points, 4 boards, 3 blocks. I assume he's going to probably he's probably not going to double. He's probably not going to play 36 minutes a game. But, I think you could be looking at 10-10 and 4+, 10-10 and 5. You're talking about one of the best rim protectors by statistic last year. How about Jerome Tang? Let's give a little love that he just reloads again, and after a kind of an off season and being wooed by Arkansas, he's putting together a monster portal class for the Cats.
Yeah, it seems like both he and Dennis Gates have reacted very well to. Well, Gates is reacting to a terrible season. Tang's reacting in a proper way to a season that wasn't quite as good, obviously. And they both seem to have loaded up big time. So it's fun. It's fun when all three of the program. Now, obviously, Missouri doesn't play in the same league anymore long ago, but it's fun if they're all good. People who don't like Missouri, I'm sure were just reveling in them being awful last year, but it almost becomes, when a team's slightly disappointing coming off a great year like Missouri was, okay, that's somewhat interesting. When they're just awful every night, that's not interesting.
No.
It's not interesting at all.
I'm impressed. Jerome Tang, just keeps adding and adding and adding. And I said it yesterday, kudos to the K-State, brain trust for fixing what was a toxic situation. And for making it, getting him to not take the Arkansas job. Arkansas was after him before they were after John Calipari. That's a pretty big save. I'll give Gene Taylor a lot of credit. Gene Taylor obviously wooed somebody into, so people got to go apologize, and we got to keep this guy. That's an amazing save for how sideways they were. We talked about it at the time with the whole Tomlin thing, that it did not look good and that we were not going to be the least bit shocked if Jerome Tang was going someplace else. And I think we thought, parallel move. South Carolina, which I don't even think it was a parallel move. I think Frank Martin took a step down, but I think he probably would have learned from Frank Martin. But, and especially if Drew was going to – I do wonder, did they dodge a bullet? Because if Drew took Kentucky – would he have said, oh, hell yeah, to Baylor? I think Baylor, they might not have been able to fend him off from Baylor. But to fend him off from Arkansas, who has a national championship on their resume, that was a hell of a job by K-State. And I think it needs to be underscored right now when they land the best rim protector out in the transfer portal.
Well, I also think the thing that's great about K-State and Jerome Tang is the fact that he is new as a head coach. He's not a particularly young man. He's in his 50s, but he's just started his head coaching career. He's got all the motivation in the world. And then he had great success his first year. He wants to get back to that bar. There's no, kicking back, getting comfy in the role, getting complacent. he's fired up to make this work. He has a naturally outgoing, gregarious personality anyway, and the enthusiasm to start to build a head coaching legacy. He's starting extremely late in doing that. I mean, even Dennis Gates was a head coach before, and he's been head coaching for a while. So I think that's another great thing for Kansas State, in the fact that they have a young head coach, per se, young in his career. I think that's cool.
Just as we head to break here, I'm sure shortly I'm going to get this in before we do. I looked up among power conference coaches. That's Big 12, SEC, Big 10, ACC, Big East, whatever. There are 10 head coaches that are older than Bill Self.
Okay.
That is Leonard Hamilton, Jim Larinaga, Rick Pitino, Kelvin Sampson, Tom Izzo, Fran McCaffrey, Dana Altman, Bruce Pearl, Rick Barnes, and John Calipari.
Somebody owes Bill Self an apology, and it's me, but I'm not going to do it. So you should apologize for us, Carson. No, my apologies. Listen.
A lot of those guys.
I thought you were on it too.
I wasn't trying to call him old because I think he's,
just the senior guy.
Is he 61? And he looks like he's about 45. Yeah. So. He's
the anti-Thad Matta, who's 47, looks like he's 90.
Yes. But I was trying to think, I don't think there's that many guys. It's one, he's just been around for a long time because he got to the head coaching ranks at a young age. But, that's of note. So he's got the success of a guy, but still not the oldest of guys, which, I think
also, a lot of those guys are about the same age.
Yes, yeah, they're in the ballpark. But I'm glad we pointed that out. So he's 11th oldest out of all the Power 5 coaches. And by the way, his portal class really good too. And they lose on Marco Jackson, and he immediately signs another guy. Like we asked yesterday, is there a line of transfers outside Lawrence, just kind of looking over each other's shoulders, like, you need anyone yet? You need anyone yet?
And we thought that he might have been in the hallway. Hey, go ahead and send him in.
They hadn't even gotten the MRI yet on Marco Jackson, and they're like, sit down, son. Here's the paperwork. And
well, the other part I think about is the fact that how many of these guys in January are going to say, I'm out of here. They got too many players. I mean, not everybody can play.
No. I object. They need a lot of wings. And especially if he's going to start playing 4 out. And I think, and I'll say this, I said it last year and I'll say it again. I think if we're going to start talking about them winning championships, KJ Adams cannot be playing 34 minutes and getting 4 and 4. Like he's got to get on the glass. Otherwise, you need a real shooter out there. You can't have a guy who doesn't rebound and doesn't shoot. So I think there are more minutes available if you want to be a championship team than maybe people realize. All right, let's take a break. Danny Klinksteel's with us. Little Danny Unleashed. It's brought to you by Easton Roofing. If you're a property manager, Easton Roofing offers turnkey solutions for property managers, including parking plan, schedule, safety plan, and warranty expectations up front. There's no guessing with Easton Roofing. Find them online right now at eastonroofing.com. That's eastonroofing.com. We'll take a break. We'll get into the Royals with Danny, some NBA Finals as well. It's the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Hey, Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing, back for another beautiful springtime in Kansas City. We are proud to announce our renewed partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. Starting in 2024, a portion of every job sold will be donated to a cause close to my heart. I was a big, and I encourage you to volunteer. And if you hire us for service on your residential or commercial roof, you'll know that a portion of the profits will go to a great cause. So call us at 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
All right, the Joe's Kansas City Barbecue burnt end of the hour answer. How many catchers have been named Rookie of the Year and won an MVP award?
Not in the same year, of course.
Yeah.
Because that's never been done.
No one's done that.
No catcher has ever done that. Only 2 men have done that. Fred Lynn and Ichiro, right? Rookie of the Year and MVP
correct,
in the same year?
Pudge, no.
Pudge was a great guess. That's who I was going to guess, but I'm glad you took it wrong first, so I'm still...
I took the bullet. I took the bullet.
Well, John Bench.
Johnny Bench, Rookie of the Year in 68, 2-time MVP, 70 and 72.
Oh, there's more than one?
I said how many?
Oh. Boy, I would have thought Rodriguez would have been there.
Danny very subtly, hell of a guy.
Bench.
Yeah, he was.
Come on.
He was a sweetheart, wasn't he?
He was the head of the baseball bunch. You know?
Yeah, he's about as friendly as a cactus.
Yeah.
By the way, if there was an off mic, hot mic of Johnny Bench, probably between takes of the baseball bunch, I'm sure that would have been entertaining.
You have the brats ready.
Yeah, get those little buggers in here.
Boy, I'm going to say that probably somewhere along. It might be Oz that might have done it.
Was Rookie of the Year, not MVP.
Didn't get to the MVP.
Well, geez, there probably aren't that many catchers who've been MVP. So I'll say Yogi Berra did they have Rookie of the Year then?
I don't think they might have, but he didn't. He was a 3-time MVP, not Rookie of the Year.
I'll say one, John Bench. You love you some John Bench, so I'm going to say one.
There are actually two more.
Oh, shut your mouth.
The most recent,
so bad.
Buster Posey, Rookie of the Year in 10, MVP in 12, and the other, a man born on this date, Thurman Munson, Rookie of the Year 1970, AL MVP in 76.
You know, I think you've used this every year on his birthday.
Probably so. You think you'd pick it up by now, June?
Well, you think
Thurman
I would.
Munson question.
You know, you think I would. I got to use one of my favorites yesterday with Kurt in production because he was talking some baseball stuff, and I said, who's the only man to catch both Babe Ruth and Ted Williams in a major league game? Pitching. So he caught Babe Ruth. Well, okay, so we caught him before he moved over to being hitter, yes. But he caught Ted Williams also, which means there was a blowout. Ted came in to throw a little mop up. A guy who caught Babe Ruth caught Ted Williams.
Does Ted Williams seem like the least likely person who would say, "Sure, I'll go out and throw an inning for you"?
At first glance, yes, but when you dig deeper and you think that at his Hall of Fame induction speech, he said, "I really hope Josh Gibson and the great Negro League players will be here one day." When he was old and they would come talk to him about Tony Gwynn, and instead of being like most old guys, like they couldn't have held water to what we did, he would marvel at the greatness of the modern player. Right. I think yes, because he obviously could be a crusty guy, but I think he also could be. I think he was also a lot better at a lot of things that people gave him credit for. So yeah, but you're delaying. Do you know who? Joe Glenn.
Oh, darn. How did I not get that?
It's funny. I know the name, but only because of that question. I have no idea if they did anything else. But
let's if you look it up, I have confirmed it. I got this. This is a question that one of my professors at Syracuse threw at us, and it was quite interesting to say the least. But yeah, Joe Glenn, catcher, caught for both the Yankees and Red Sox. Here, I'll get to his baseball page.
Yeah, there he is.
Kind of a robust player he was for his career. 252, 333, 332.
5 career dingers.
5 career dingers.
5.
Got to admire the on-base percentage there.
Yeah, 330. I mean, that's why he kept getting gigs. Not bad. Not a bad little career. 181 hits, and he caught Babe Ruth and Ted Williams. Yeah, there you go. Speaking of that, how about your Kansas City Royals? They pull a win out, down 3-1, come back, tie it, go ahead. A great slide by MJ Melendez, or a great tumble. They needed that win.
Yes.
Are you bullish on them being able to handle a 7-game set with the M's and Yanks here at home? Maybe get away 3-4, 4-3. What's your expectations?
As each day goes by, I think that I'm impressed by the mettle, M-E-T-T-L-E, of the Royals. That was a big win yesterday. Had all the earmarks of, this is going to just be we lay down for a couple of games against the Guardians. And did you not get the feeling that it wasn't going to go well at the end of the game? I did. They would have had 4-3. I said I didn't think that was going to be the final score of the game. That's for sure. So they're at home. They've played very well at home. I mean, MJ Melendez actually even has decent stats at home, which is, his road stats are so bad that it's almost even hard to comprehend. So I do like their fight, and I do generally think that this seems like a team that's not going to go into extended losing streaks unless their starting pitching starts to get banged up. If they keep their starting